Hello everyone, this is Professor Kim. This PowerPoint lecture will be on writing leads. So this is, we talked about really basic rules of the lead. Now this is a more in-depth look. Okay, next slide please. So you can basically the 5 W's and 1 H. That's one simple way to do it. For example, you can lead with who when the person is important, like President Bush will visit Cuba next week. That's who lead, right? What when the issue is important, the lightning struck the upper deck at Dodger Stadium last night. That's what lead. When the timing is important, like midnight tonight is the deadline for tax return, which is actually April 15th, right? But the local post office is ready to accommodate procrastinator. So that's a simple tip you can, write and begin your lead. Who, what, when. Next, please. So where that location is a lead material. That's a good material. Location as a beginning of the lead. Why? Because the reason is important that could be a lead. Because she could correctly spell ostentatious, Lisa Wheeler will go to spelling bee final. Actually, my son just had his first spelling bee contest. Have you? I know what you read in your biography. Anyways, let's move on. Next, please. Sorry. And of course, how can be your lead. How can be by hitting his 50th home run, Sammy Sosa became Hall of Fame, member. Not anymore because he used the drug. Next, please. All right. So let me tell you this. Anyways, let's move on. Next, please. Sorry. And of course, how can be your lead. How can be by hitting his 50th home run, Sammy Sosa became Hall of Fame, member. Not anymore because he used the drug. Next, please. I'll tell you this. Some story. Sometimes you have two very different lead. Depending on whether you write about breaking news or you're writing about follow-up, news. So there are two different kinds of lead. No, that's not what's on the board. So okay, so then I lied. There's a hard lead and soft lead. Hard lead and soft lead. That's probably the two broadest category of the lead. Hard lead is usually summary lead. Soft lead is also known for feature lead. We'll talk about this next class, but we're going to focus on the hard lead today. Next, please. And within this hard lead, you have this first day lead and second day follow up. So for the Warner story, if the first time he killed, is it Kwan, Jenny Kwan, or what, the daughter of the police officer he had the grudge against. Everything is like, who did this, what, where, when. Who, what, where, when, in a very basic facts. And simple, straightforward, hard summary lead. So I'm going to erase this. Did you all get this?
This PowerPoint's available on our Moodle, right?
Yeah, it's actually, I just downloaded from the Moodle. So, in the hard lead, especially the first day lead, you have typically, you know who did what, oh, that's different, interesting, what, where, and when. Christopher Dorner killed the daughter of the assistant basketball coach in Irvine condominium last night. Right? That's how it goes. For example, the Hurricane Katrina, or basically the ravaged New Orleans. Where? When? Yesterday. Sandy Hook Elementary School students died. 20 elementary school students got shot yesterday. The Connecticut Sandy Hook Elementary. That's basically summary lead. Different kind of lead is the second day lead, where usually written day after, or and like follow up on that event. They usually emphasize why and how. And they put who, what, where, when as a secondary, information. Their follow-up stories, top importance is how did someone do it and why someone did this. Motives and others. And there's more detail. So follow-up story or second day story focus on what do you know more about the topic since the last report. They're not going to rehash what's been already reported, what's already been reported by your paper as well as other new media outlets. That will be pointless, right? They are now looking for recent developments, more up-to-date recent developments. Like, exclusive, the KCAL reporter, we have exclusive reports on where Christopher Dorner is now, since he was spotted in Lowe's Northridge hardware store. Was he even here? And did he go to buy some scuba diving equipment? That's true, according to TMZ. So he wore it to survive the fume so he knew that he would be burned to death. Just kidding. So emphasis is now on something new, some new development coming up, not as much as what already happened. And how and why is usually the focus, because it takes time to discover someone's motive. Somebody, why, for example, the Metrolink train crash, 2008. That's my biggest, the train accident in actually U.S. history. I don't know if you remember or not. Yeah, it's really had a lot of big local impact in Northridge. Many students and seasoned staff, got injured. Okay, how that happened? How that train run a red light and crashed into freight train? How did it happen? How is it possible that happened? So that's basically follow-up news. And why that happened? What happened to that conductor in the train? Was he sleeping or was he sick And it turned out he was texting with a teenage boy. Did you know that? He was texting with teenage boy and making an appointment to show him around, the trains.
What?
And it turned out it was I read daily news and it's all published in the newspaper. Okay, now that's basically the idea of what you should emphasize in the first day lead and what you should emphasize in the second day lead. Next, please. Example of this. First day story looks like this. Metrolink crash, Friday, September 12, 2008. When you see this story, I want you to pay attention what part of 5 W's and 1 H is highlighted in the lead in the story. And what information is not included. I already actually told you so. So you will probably, what you will notice is the first day breaking news is like unfinished puzzle. It's an incomplete picture. It's very scattered picture of what happened on the day. Next, please. So this is first day story look like. Somebody can read it for me because I've been talking too much. How about Angelica?
Freight train collided with a rush hour commuter train in Los Angeles on Friday evening, killing at least 18 people and injuring scores of others, many of them critically. That was potentially the deadliest accident in the history of the Southern California commuter trains.
An accident happened in Chatsworth area, San Fernando Valley, north of downtown LA. The line indicates your lead should not, include too much specific, explicit details. So that's actually substituted. Okay. I like that sound. Okay, so it talked about, give me the 5 W's and 1 H. Find here from the story. Okay, who trained, what happened? Collided. Where? North, no, Chatsworth. When?
Friday evening.
Yeah, okay. Now what's missing? How and why, right? So that's what I'm talking about. How and why usually is not part of the first day breaking news story. Got it? Next. Then second day lead, you will see more of how and why. Blame. Whose fault this is? And more confirmation, like for example, identity of the passengers. That's a big deal, right? If you don't know, if you have relatives who's living in the area, you never know whether this person got injured or survived or died. Yes.
My friend's boyfriend was coming to visit her, and he was on that train, and he died.
Scattered information. Now you second day lead, you have more complete picture of what happened. Clear picture. However, you will not see, who did, who, what, where, when, again, because that's already been reported by you and other media. Next, please. So, this is the written, I think, day after. Second day lead. At least 25 people were killed in head-on crash of a commuter train and freight train near Los Angeles that official on Saturday attributed to the failure of the passenger train engineer to stop a red light. Now, what do we have here? Blame and why. So we start seeing explanation to why that happened, right? But it didn't. Now the second paragraph and fourth paragraph will have more confirmed facts, like 25 people fatality confirmed, and 47 people injured. They're confirming those facts, every day. Next, please. Engineer who ran a red signal here crashed head-on into a freight train, likely caused the nation's deadliest commuter train wreck in nearly 4 decades. What are we seeing here is historical picture, historical context. How bad is this train? Right? That's a larger perspective in the story. That's in your lead. What's not in the lead is who, where, when, what, right? It didn't even talk any of that in the lead, right? It's completely different beginning, right? That's because it's a follow-up story. And those facts provided the following paragraph, or if not, third or fourth paragraph. Because they're not news anymore. And what do we want? News. When do we want? Now. Okay, next. I feel so silly. Okay. Again, what do we have here is confirmation of ID. Identities of 19 deaths released by coroner's office. That's actually important. It's like a breaking news. As the death toll climbed to 25 Saturday in the Metrolink train collision, grieving relatives of the dead and injured learned the nation's worst commuter rail disaster, almost 4 decades, was caused by engineer who ran a red light. Cause and more confirmed numbers. How many people died, how many people injured, and the names of those people who died. So as time goes by, we have that confirmed facts, and you will see that in the story. That will replace who, what, where, when, the basic, lead. Next, please. Okay.